Welcome to the Whisky Business Podcast, where we dive into the rich and fascinating world of whisky and the equally complex landscape of business. I'm your host, Ash Playsted, here to guide you through conversations that blend the culture and enjoyment of great whisky with the craft of building lasting business success. Each episode will be an exploration of the subtle connections between the smooth complexities of a fine dram and the strategic decisions that shape thriving enterprises. So pour yourself a glass, settle in, and join us as we discover how passion and precision make all the difference in both whisky and business. Hello, Ash Playsted here, your host of the Whisky Business Show. I think this is episode 9 coming to you today. It's early 2025. I trust you are very, very well and your year is off to a great start. So I've got a bit of a treat for you today. A couple of things I want to talk about today. Whiskey, a particular whiskey, Speyside whiskey. I also want to talk to you about networking, the business side of things, and draw all that together and talk about a particularly delicious whiskey. So I want to start to talk a little bit about this distillery or this area of Scotland, which is described as Speyside. You may have heard, if you're a whiskey drinker or aficionado, you've really got these three main whiskey areas. You've got the peaty Islay style whiskies. You've got up in the Highlands, which are rugged and coastal. And then you've got Speyside. These are distilleries that pretty much run down and around the River Spey, hence the name Speyside. And they're lighter, fruitier, delicious whiskies. Now, when I was over in Scotland in the middle of last year, we stayed in a town called Dufftown. Look it up on Google Maps. Dufftown is right in the heart of, whiskey heaven. And in fact, Dufftown describes itself as the whiskey capital of the universe, or the world, maybe the universe as well. And for good reason. There are so many amazing distilleries in this area. All the famous ones. There's Glenfiddich, there's Macallan, and there's probably 20 to 30 other really brilliant distilleries within an hour of Dufftown. So if you ever get to Scotland, get up to the northeast, book yourself into a nice B&B in Dufftown, and use that as your stepping off point to go to a lot of amazing distilleries. Now, this particular whiskey, let me grab it from the collection. So this is from Abelour or Aberlour. This is a beautiful distillery down the A95 highway, 30, 40 minutes from Dufftown, in the twin towns of Aberlour and Charleston, is the Aberlour distillery. Now, this particular whiskey, which was created specifically for the whisky club I'm a part of, is a Speyside single malt Scotch whisky, limited batch release, double cask matured in American oak casks and sherry oak cask. It's 13 years old. And this is about as good a whisky as you can get, particularly value for money. I'll go into a little bit of a description of the whisky itself shortly. In fact, why don't we do that now? But have a look at that bottle. I mean, isn't that a brilliant looking bottle of whisky? Beautiful colour, beautifully bottled. I've already started drinking this one. I couldn't stop myself. It's so good. So let me just read you a few of the tasting notes and description of this whiskey. As I was about to say, it scored 99 out of 100 at the 2024 San Francisco World Spirits Competition, which made it very, very close to winning the prestigious Best in Class. It picked up double gold, scoring 99 out of 100. Doesn't get much better than that. And it was made specifically for the Whisky Club. An amazing standout whiskey, and really the epitome of Speyside single malt whiskey. It's got everything that you'd love about Abelour. It's rich, fruity Speyside, red apples, juicy plums, orange zest, and the sweet and spicy finish from the sherry influence of the double cask. And it has a lingering, sweet, spicy finish, which is really sublime. Honestly, words can't describe just how good this whiskey is. And it's their first ever vintage from their, as I said, the multi-gold winning double cask. It's bottled at 48% instead of their standard 40%. That's right in the sweet spot of ABV. So a really, really beautiful whiskey. This one will knock your socks off. If you ever get a chance to sample this one, go for it. If you're ever in Scotland, get down to Aberlour, the town, and get a taste of this whiskey. It's an absolute cracker. Now, I want to talk a little bit about how this all came about and the connection to business. So when we were staying, Tom, my son and I, in Dufftown and going out to different distilleries, I think we probably went to 9 or 10 in that area, or maybe, 9 or 10. So we were recommended to go to Aberlour. So we drove down there, had a hire car, got to Aberlour, and as luck would have it or not have it, the distillery was actually closed for the day. So our hearts sank. We got to go into the shop and have a look around in the shop, bought a couple of trinkets to bring home, didn't buy any whiskey. As I said, this one I ordered from the whiskey club I'm part of, but I didn't get any whiskey from the distillery itself. So that's really disappointing, okay? But the story goes upwards from there. So we had a look around the shop, headed out of the distillery, drove probably 2 minutes down the road, and stumbled across the original head office and still head office and manufacturing facility of Walker's Shortbread Cookies. Now, if you haven't seen or heard of Walker's Shortbread Cookies, you probably just landed on Earth from another planet, right? They're ubiquitous. They've been around since I was a kid. I'm 60 now. So it was a really amazing, happy, unexpected consequence of Abelour being closed. We stumbled across Walker's Shortbread Cookies and got a tour and a look around this amazing production facility and shop. So they took us around. We had a fantastic look, bought some cookies, and it turned out to be a fabulous, unexpected benefit of the door being closed at Abelour and the door opening at Walker's. If we had got into this distillery, which would have been fantastic, we never would have discovered Walker's Shortbread Cookies, believe it or not, even though they're everywhere, these things, across Scotland, across the world. They sell millions and millions of these things. And it's been there for well over 100 years, probably 150 years. So what's the lesson here for business? Well, the lesson is networking. And often networking, the real opportunity comes from the second or third layer of the connection that you thought the opportunity had come from. Have a think about a situation where you go to a function to meet a particular business opportunity. You do meet them. That doesn't go anywhere, but while you're there, you get introduced to someone else who introduces you to someone else, and that someone else just happens to be the connection that you go further with and becomes an amazing business opportunity for both of you. So what do we want to take away from this? What we want to take away from this is the importance of networking and being open-minded and not giving up just because the first relationship you thought was going to be an opportunity doesn't work out. Use it as a stepping stone to another connection and another connection, because you just never know how many layers deep you need to go for the best opportunity to open up. So one door closes, don't walk away with your head and your jaw dragging on the ground. Pick yourself up, have a look around, find out what other opportunities exist. And that's what happened to us at Abelour and Walker's. As I said, a fantastic part of northeastern Scotland. So it's on the River Spey, heart and centre of Speyside whisky. This particular whisky, the epitome of fruity, zesty Speyside whisky. I just love it. Get over there, check it out. I'll see you next week on the next episode of the Whisky and Business Show.